I'm Stephanie Haywood, and I have arrived at Warner Robins Housing Authority. Uh, this is my vehicle. The key is in my jacket pocket.
Morning. How can we help you?
Hi, I'm Stephanie Haywood here for a meeting with Miss Porter.
Yes, ma'am. Come on in.
Okay. Can you hold this briefcase for me? Appreciate you.
Good morning.
Hi.
She said she didn't see you on. Right?
Yes.
Okay.
It took me a minute to get to the car and back.
Do you need to see my ID? The Warner Robins Housing Authority ID? Do you need to see my Warner Robins Housing Authority? Mhm. I did. Do I need to sign in? Does she need to sign in? She's just here to attend the meeting as a witness. My sister, she's attending also. You probably don't have to sign. You can if you want to. Just to show that you can. Go ahead. Okay.
What's your name?
Natalie Haywood.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I'll take the briefcase. Oh, I'm sorry. Um, it's somebody at the door right here. Oh, okay. She's talking to him.
Yes, ma'am. I got something now. Okay, I got. You know, I'm trying to get you back in, but this you guys gonna pick me up. They're gonna see. They're gonna pick me up. They're gonna pick me up. Yes, ma'am. But they're driving. They won't pick me up. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. This is why I'm here because of my email and my complaint, my records request as well. And today is April the 23rd, Wednesday, 2025, 10:01 a.m. My heart always racing when I feel like I've been wronged. I don't see anything in here that states you cannot record. I am checking. I know that this is also a public space, and I've already told her that I would be recording before I came. So,
Messing up, right? Messing up.
I don't know how that person got left again.
Got 4 years to mess up.
Yeah.
4 years. Mess up.
And you watch. He'll raise hell like he did the last time he lost.
Last time you were cooking, last time, you won't act right. I really want for that lady then. I was going for that lady. I don't know how Trump got in.
Too many stupid people voted for him,
Yeah, well, it's,
including my sister.
yeah, you never,
I flat told her after she did that, I said, we will never talk politics.
yeah, I know.
Okay, that'll tear us apart. She said something about being worried about what Trump was doing. I'm not better. I said,
Like I said, Trump messing up. He messing up.
oh, I forgot to introduce you for the camera. So this is Natalie Haywood. She attended today to be my witness. She is also a tenant with Warner Robins Housing Authority.
Yeah.
Hi. Excuse me.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
Good morning, how are
Yeah,
you?
man. She gonna give me that key out there? We have a.
I can't fit in the chair. Oh my God. I'm gonna set my time because I'm doing. You'll see in the new newsletters on Wednesday, which I have it before meeting, so I can see what's going on. So, and I don't care if you record. I'm gonna go back to paperwork, and you know me to be fair. So I just wanted to see. I'm just setting my time. That's all. I just said. That's all. It's just okay. So the reason I had my Miss Bria call, it was a letter forwarded over to the city, and it was referred back to us. I think it came Friday, maybe Thursday. Right. Or Friday. So I said, I just want to get to the bottom of it. So that's why she called. So ain't no trouble. No, this ain't no grievance. Right. I just wanted to go over the letter. Yes, that was all. That's all. So, okay. So you want to talk about your grievances? So I wrote a email to Mr. Early on March 11th, 2025, this year at 10:49 a.m. And I was basically just requesting my open records from him. And March 11, 2025, 10:49 a.m. And I stated, hello, I, Stephanie Haywood, I'm emailing you, Warner Robins Housing Authority / property manager, to request all files, media, photos, case reports, housekeeping inspections, maintenance inspections, all lease violations, complaint forms, all eviction notices, all photos on file, basically any files, media, and photos, casework. And he did not respond. This is a habit for him because he usually does not respond to me at all. Okay. I know that this is just about this, so I won't mention anything further except for this particular situation. Oh, it's about you're not limited to what you can tell. Okay. Well, basically, that's what I'm saying. It's not a grievance. I'm just trying to. I'm in the solutions. Remember when I talked in September when we had a meeting out there, and I was saying what my expectations were. What was I for the housekeeping? For the. It was just a meeting. Right. I told a meeting with residents. Of what my expectations were prior to and what they should have been, and they were like, "Oh, that's not going on." Right. So that is what I'm still trying to see. Yes, ma'am. Yeah. So basically, I just feel like Mr. Early has been biased towards me and complacent with hostile behavior. Like he sent me a violation that wasn't really a violation, stating that he would tow my vehicle if I didn't have it fixed, but we never communicated that my vehicle was broken and it's operated. So I was kind of, he's been filing multiple evictions anyways already. So with your car, I know, what was it, was your tire flat? Right, I was changing my tire out. Okay, you changed your tire out. Right, but you got the vehicle. Eviction letter for that? It wasn't specifically for that. He just stated that if I didn't fix it, he would tow my vehicle. But my vehicle is validated with Warner Robins Housing Authority, so I didn't understand why he would say that to me. And then on January the 9th, he typed up a lease termination letter. I felt like it was retaliation because code enforcement was involved with my unit. And he basically said or made a claim that I refused to allow people into the unit to fix it, but he's not scheduling appointments. He's not communicating with me. And once I discussed that with the code enforcement officer, he reached out to Mr. Early and had Mr. Early to contact me the same day, January the 9th. I think he contacted me around 3:45 p.m. We spoke and he rescheduled the meeting, but he still typed up that lease termination letter. He did throw it out, but he still has done things in particular to target me that makes me feel afraid of him. He also sent me something stating that he wanted me to remove my cameras. However, he's aware of my cameras and he was the one that told me that I could get the cameras. I also made sure before I signed my 2024 lease. Okay, I'm gonna go back. Stop right there. I just want some clarity. Right. And when I ask questions, it's not saying you wrong, it's so I can understand and I have to explain it all the time. Right. Okay, so I'm gonna go back up to so March 11th, Opens Records Act. So we have 3 days to get you your stuff. But I know
back in 2023. We printed out some information for you. And so you just want it from that time frame to now? Or you still want it because in 2023, you sent in a request for your records.
I
And then-
requested a cornflake paperwork. So Ms. Bray stated that my eviction wasn't about the bus stop situation anymore. It was about the cornflake incident. So that's the specific request that I had made. I did not ask him for all of my paperwork.
I was like, oh, I don't know that was long. But you talking about
Yes,
like
ma'am.
okay, so
Right.
that was all done.
Right, and they
the ball
didn't
was
have a
dropped.
form.
Yeah,
Right.
they didn't have a form. Okay, and so after then, because you requested that in 10/23, so in 12, and it's still on 3 days. In 12/23, he printed out some work for you because I saw in the paperwork where he wanted you to sign, you didn't sign.
Because
Did it.
all of the stuff that he had in his hand, I had never seen it before in my life. And I've been a tenant with you guys for a very long time.
Okay.
So I wasn't about to put my signature under anything that I wasn't sure of, taking responsibility for anything.
Oh, it was just the paperwork stating that, well, it should have just been on there. It's just stating that he gave you the records that you requested. It shouldn't be anything in there saying falsifying, saying she has said such and such. It should have been on there. But I understand when there's a trust, you don't trust any of it. And that's not your fault. I understand it because if I probably gave you something, you would sign it.
Yes, ma'am.
I understand. So, yeah, okay. Then January 9th. Okay, so let's say about the vehicle. So in the vehicle part, even though you have your decal on it, and I know how strict it was before where you could not fix on your car at all. But to me, if I'm at my house, my tire goes flat, I gotta fix my flat tire. If I'm at the house and I have, I'm trying to think of something, your battery go dead, somebody gotta come and charge your battery up. That to me is not working on your car. The reason that's in there, if the car is jacked up, if it's on blocks, it falls, it hurts your baby or hurts somebody else, then we are liable. Not you, we are liable. But if you were fixing your tire, that's to me, you gotta get your tire fixed.
Right.
Was it
But
up on
my
cinder
thing was
blocks?
the tire, there was no jacks, there was nothing in the yard except for the tire was still connected to my vehicle, actually. So some of the lugs were kind of missing off of it, but you could kind of tell that it was broken, but it was still connected to the vehicle.
And the
So-
tire was flat?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so that may appear.
Well, not a flat tire, I apologize. The tire came off of the vehicle.
Oh,
So
okay.
it wasn't a flat tire, it dropped off, it broke off. However, the tire was still attached in a way where it needed the shop to fix it, which I did take it to the shop and get it fixed. But I think the same day or a day after, I made a call the same day, and the day after I got the letter from him, that's when I went and got the tire put on correctly. But the tire wasn't off of the vehicle. There was no trash in the yard. There was nothing in the yard. I didn't indicate to him that I had a broken vehicle. We didn't communicate about it or anything like that. So I just feel like he should have communicated with me instead of assuming that something was wrong or whatever the case may be. However, I did get that fixed.
Okay,
So-
right, you did. That's what I had wrote down, communication, because if he could, how can I say it? Knocking on the door to say, hey, I'm sorry, it's beeping, because I didn't really,
Or sending a letter, that would have worked.
no,
Nice.
I can knock on your door and say, hey, Miss Stephanie, what's going on with your tire? And you say, oh, I'm getting it fixed tomorrow. Okay, I'm moving on. That's sensible property management. Well, you know I done that.
Right.
Not to you,
But not necessarily him, being the circumstances
Right,
and how I
but-
feel like he consistently
and that's why I
harasses
work
me.
with that to say, well, I understand it, so I sent Tierra. So you notice with your housekeeping inspection, when we set it up, I said, okay, I already knew the tension or whatever the uncomfortability with it.
Right.
So that's why I was sent Tierra.
Right.
Or if he had to go, he got somebody to go with him. You see what I'm saying? So I kind of knew that. So if you were uncomfortable, that's why I was sent her on a separate to do the housekeeping where he would have did that area. Because M14 is his specific area now. But if it's some communication, some training need to be done, or something need to be squashed, because I had a couple of not bad questions for you, but stuff I wanted to know. So, and in January, you said he did communicate with you after code enforcement?
The same day. He contacted code enforcement and told them I was refusing to allow the contractors in the unit. However, Mr. Reginald Early was not specific on his paperwork with when those contractors were coming out. So he sent me a letter stating Wednesday or Thursday, not a specific time frame. And so when they came out, I had already waited up the other day for them. So I did not know exactly what time they was coming. I was just hoping I would be awake when they got there. When they got there, I was not awake. I reached out to the code enforcement officer as soon as I saw his call stating that they were trying to get into the unit. I was kind of hoping they were still there, so I could let them in. But apparently Mr. Reginald told him he heard me in the unit. I just simply refused to open the door and I wouldn't let them in. And he typed up a lease termination letter out of frustration the same day. So I felt like that was wrong as well on his behalf.
So with that, to me, it's still communication, even though, like, lease termination to me, so we have an obligation, you have an obligation. So now it's like, we gotta follow the lease. The lease protects you and it protects us. That we're not biased, we're not just making up stuff, we not creating.
But that is what he's doing. That's how I feel about it.
I understand. I don't take that from you at all. So when we send the letter out, okay, to say today, I looked up, I wanted to see the work order. So I said, oh, she got a leak. Let me see who put this in. So I said, Ms. Brown, you put a work order in, she got a leak at such place. She said, yeah, I put it in yesterday. I said, did somebody go out? She said, Mr. Lamar. So my next step, because I'm going to do due diligence, because I remember you came in the meeting, and I laughed when I saw it because, and I didn't laugh as in, oh my, you said, well, can you give me some evidence? I do due diligence. It was none that day. You sat there that day. I think it was 3 others in the room, and nothing, and you were asking specific questions. So I asked him, and he said he did go, and your doors are locked in the back. So then I have to ask the question of, is it a certain time that you need? Because you got small babies. Right. So I do understand when babies sleep, you don't want to bother. So if they on a sleep schedule. So I do know if you put a work order in, we don't have to give you a notice to say what time we're coming. But when you put the work order in, did you speak to Ms. Brown or left a message?
I'm not really sure how I went about that. I do know that I put it in though.
Okay, I think I was saying if she spoke, if you left a message, she should have called back and said, I got your message, I'm putting your work order in because of this water leak. But if you talked to her, she should have said, I'm putting the work order in, we're gonna send somebody out. Mm-hmm. So when I asked Mr. Lamar, he said your doors were locked. Was it after 9 o'clock? He said it was after 9 o'clock. So then I also had questions about some work orders, because I had one specific question. You still don't have your vent up in the bathroom?
No.
Okay. So when
the door is still hanging out too.
Preventive maintenance inspection. So I went through the file. What's the preventive maintenance inspections? What was found? Because by now it should be done.
Right.
We can't. What I was told, we can't get in the unit to get it done.
That's not true.
Okay.
I record everything just to let you know.
Do. So when she said report, I said, I don't know. I said, because I'm gonna go by this. So on that, they can't get in the unit.
I only heard about that on January the 9th. So that was still the first step that he took to allow me to understand what he felt was going on, which was me not letting people in the unit. But I still have a whole list of videos of contractors entering this unit and making repairs, and still the things are still left incomplete and or not fixed. So it's like him using that as another retaliation method to scream it's me and not him. With the people, she's not letting people in the unit. First of all, the contractors are unmarked when they come out, and I still have to let them in and try to protect my children at the same time.
So they
don't have on uniforms. They don't have stickers on their cars.
A vendor, not a vendor. It's a little thing that says a contractor of Warner Robins House Authority should be around their neck with a thing look like a badge.
Right.
They should at least have that. But I think by now you know Dale. But I understand what you're saying. So you should know when they're coming out. But when we're doing preventive maintenance, they should know they're coming. You know who Lamar is.
Right. I still want to request that they give me a 24-hour notice though, since that's presented in my lease. I don't know what to expect with everything that I have endured with Housing Authority, and I am afraid. I am. I have faced multiple evictions. No reason. I have been in good standing, trying to remain in good standing. I have suffered mentally tremendously, even gained high blood pressure behind suffering with what has happened to me while I've been a tenant here dealing with Mr. Reginald Early. Now, however, I don't hold any grudges, I try to just let stuff go and let God deal with everything. But he has made it his business to consistently attack me or make me feel like I'm not, like I don't have any rights, you know? And so it's kind of just, it's more hurt than it is, you know, attitude or anything like that. And I still present myself in a decent manner. You know, I would never disrespect any of you all just because I do know your authority. However, what he has done, it is wrong. And I just want him to stop. You know, that's it. I just want him to stop. I don't have an issue. I know that my children need a place to stay. Um, and I'm not trying to jeopardize that at all. You know, I'm not trying to do anything in return of what has been done to me. I just want it to stop so that I can live peacefully and take care of my children. It's hard enough as it is on me. You know, with 5 children, I'm raising them by myself. And I have suffered because of the things that he has done or brought up against me. And then when he does these inspections, when he come in, he specifically point blame as if I'm the problem. And then I say the next second that, I don't have a contractor to put up doors anymore. So how can you fault me for the doors or charge me for the doors when you never had them put up correctly in the first place because you admitted you don't even have a contractor for that? So, you know, it's fine that Dale Dem is doing the job, but those doors that they put up are cardboard boxes. I have Mr. Lamar explaining how they're going to come down as soon as you put them up. They're fake doors. They're not real doors.
Okay, so the doors, they're not the hard. See these doors that are right here?
Right.
They don't have them. They don't make them. So they're not that they're cardboard, but I got doors in I don't have these.
Right.
You got 5, I had 3. You been in your unit how long?
I want to say 3 years
I'm
now.
in my house. And I ain't in no, I'm on this side of town, so you know the difference between that side and this side? Because I'm
Right.
raised on this side.
Right.
My doors are not torn, damaged, torn up. I got the same blinds. I ain't always work. You know that. I ain't all, you know, I'm open book. So with some of it can be wear and tear, but some of it is like, okay, stop pulling on the blinds, stop doing such and such,
Right.
stop.
But we've never had an issue with the blinds.
No,
Blinds have
I'm
never
just
been
using for
broken.
example. You don't have an issue with the blinds.
Doors,
The
no holes
or
in
even
them.
with the like the bathroom should have been fixed.
Right.
And that's what the first question I said, is this fixed? Because I know I go through some units and I
Right.
ask a question. I had to ask about another unit. I said, when you walk in the back door, you see this, was this fixed? Okay. So that's how I observed. So my
Right.
question to you was gonna be, we got the vent up in the bathroom? And so you answered that question. So
Right.
that means that's not done. So they did take care of what was at the top. They took care of the ceiling. And they did that part, but you don't have a vent up there.
Right.
Correct. That's not in there. As far as the sink, you have a vanity there, because that was coming off the wall, but you know how they used to be. So that was in a plan, in our annual plan to replace all on those with the vanities on it. You have new countertops in the kitchen.
I do.
Okay. So the
But
backsplash still cracked. You said something about the backsplash was cracked. Was that an old one? You're
The
not
wall-
talking about the granite one. You're talking about
The wall, like that's on top of it. They had to use a hammer or something to pull the countertop down, and so they cracked the actual wall that was behind where the countertop was coming off at. If that makes sense. Right.
I'm sorry.
I don't know what to call it because I don't fix.
It's a backsplash,
but
right?
everything.
Okay.
The floorboards still haven't been put down. Tiles are coming up in many of places. The walls are peeling paint all over the unit. I asked him, you know, in 2023, could y'all paint the walls or do something with the walls? But the thing is that the walls are peeling paint. And when they come out there and paint, they're painting over the peeling paint and expecting the paint to not still peel. So after a while, I don't know if it's, you know,
Did Dale paint your wall?
he did. I believe it was him. I don't
I know.
put me on
I
that, but I
can
think
see
it was him.
Okay.
They did the bathroom and the living room only. So all the rest of the walls are still
Yellow and
peeling
it's gray.
paint. Man,
Is your apartment entirely gray or is yours half and half? Because I know we were switching from yellow to gray.
it's just the living room and the bathroom that's gray.
That's gray, and everything else
Is-
beige color.
Right.
Okay.
Or like a off whitish.
Whitish color. Okay. And your baseboards are what color? The black.
Yes, ma'am. They're
Okay.
black.
Okay. So when I was looking at preventive maintenance, and I kept looking, I said, I don't see it. So we've got on here. So I just want to verify this is what's still damaged in your home, and they're gonna need access for
Right.
that. Okay.
It's if they can just let me know when they're coming out, they'll most definitely have access.
Okay.
Cause I'll
Do
make
you
sure
have
I'm
a
there.
particular time that what's nap time?
Well,
Yeah, nap
for my
time.
little one, it's 12 o'clock.
So
So I'm up in the morning, and I really try to stay up all day long. So as long as I know that they're coming, I'll be up from sun up to sundown
okay.
on
with
most
the
days.
hot water heater or whatever's leaking, I'm just assuming it's the hot water heater, so you got water draining. So when he came out, he said he couldn't get Mr. Lamar. So
I don't have a hot water heater.
you got some water in your house? Well, print it. You got water leaking through the floor near the utility closet. I'm just assuming it's hot water.
No, that's not me.
That's
I've
not
never
yours?
reported that. I had a leaking roof in the bathroom. So when it rained, it would pour down in
Did
there.
you talk to Miss Brown yesterday? You
No,
haven't
ma'am.
reported none this week?
No, ma'am.
Okay.
I have not.
That's why I asked. So I said, you go check it. He said I couldn't get in.
I am gonna leave a work order though because my drawers in the refrigerator cracked with me putting vegetables in it without bagging them. So I'm gonna leave a work order for that today before I leave here, via paper. So I'll turn that in. That's the only thing that I've
How long they
seen.
been cracked or they just cracked?
They just cracked.
They-
They just cracked.
Okay. From pulling, slamming, what?
No, me. I'm the only one that has access to the fridge. So
No.
putting vegetables in the fridge, like squash, stuff like that, it's too heavy for those little drawers, and I had to find that out the hard way. Don't mind paying for it because it was my fault, putting stuff in there that can't fit in a tiny little drawer. But that's the only thing that's new that I've seen. Everything else is pretty much still the same thing from 2023.
Okay, so we're gonna verify. I'm gonna go what they have on the list. First bedroom door wall damaged by door. First bedroom, you got a hole in the wall or damaged by the door, or something flaking by the front door. First bedroom damaged wall by door.
It shouldn't be a damaged wall. It's just the two doors. So
Nothing. Okay. Third bedroom.
I mean, it's
door
still in
off.
paint, but the walls are not damaged.
Third-
Unless they're talking about those two holes that's been there for a long time. It's one in the hallway. It hasn't fully came to the bubble, but you can still tell like somebody slammed something in there and they had to fix that wall. The living room wall, they have patched it up once before. It is cracking again, like it's deteriorating again, which I already did put that work order in.
So was a hole in the wall when you moved in?
Yeah, both of them were.
You moved in a unit with a hole in the wall.
It was invisible. They patched it up. You know how maintenance do.
Oh,
They
okay.
patched their wall
I'm like,
up.
it's a hole in
Right.
the wall?
So you can,
Okay, so you're saying it was a previous hole.
right, a previous hole
And
before I
they
moved
should
in.
have smoothed it out
Right.
and it's back. So it just started peeling. So no one hit it, bumped it, or
No.
nothing. It just all of a sudden the wall just caved in.
No, he does the maintenance inspections all the time, him and Tierra, so I'm pretty sure he can, tell you what it looks like. But I don't want to make it sound like any of this is my fault because
No,
it's there
I'm
previously.
asking. No, that's what I was asking.
But the walls, so it's like this. I'll just speak on the second time that he's came out to fix it. One of the little Mexican guys, I'm not sure who he is, his name. He doesn't be having on a uniform. They just all come in. So he was fixing on the wall. He put a little cardboard shape inside of the wall, and then he scrubbed on top of it and patched it up. Okay, that's starting to crack again and deteriorate again. I'm pretty sure that it has to be maintained. You can't just do it one time and assume that the hole is not there. You know?
You all still have brick walls, right?
Right.
Okay.
I believe we do.
Yeah. Okay. I got you. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just trying to figure out. Then I gotta thank y'all walls because I think.
I'm sorry if I'm in defense mode, but when he comes
no.
out, he points fingers like
Yeah.
it's me, and I pass all of my inspections, so it doesn't make sense for you to come in here and say, "Oh, hey, you damaged the ceiling," but he has done that,
Yeah.
and I have video.
So even when they come in on that, they can point it out. This and that. It should be.
But his assumption
it
is,
shouldn't be argumentative on that. But what I do, if you got a move-in inspection,
and I never had one of those. So.
I saw it when you transferred to my move-in inspections. You had one when you moved in 100 Sydney.
I didn't even have one then. It was Sydney who moved me into that apartment, and she just told me to go get the lights and stuff cut on, bring her the paperwork, and come pick up the key, and that's exactly what I did.
Okay, but you signed it. No, you didn't sign it.
I didn't sign either.
You had who signed it? I'm gonna have to go in and get it because I was like, he not on the lease. Why would he
If it's
sign
not
it?
my signature, nobody should be signing it.
I'm gonna pull it and see so I can let you know who it was because I said.
Please, and I
it
want
wasn't
that.
like an employee signature. It was like a relative signature, but member?
Right. I
Was
don't
somebody in the unit on the lease at the time?
know.
Cause I know you requested Quincy at one time to be added to the lease.
I did.
Who was before Quincy?
It was Allen, but he moved out and he never took charge of anything over the unit.
I'm a little,
So.
cause I think it's a signature and I'm like, they're not here the household, so why would they sign you with the
Right. That signature shouldn't even be valid.
But it's on there, so I pulled it. Bathroom vent, so the third bedroom door is still off the hinges.
It's 2 doors off the hinges right
It's two
now.
off the hinges.
One in the back and one in the front. Well, the one in the front isn't directly off. It's coming off. So the latch on the door,
Oh, you talking about the front door?
right, the first bedroom, that latch on that door. Like when you walk into the living room, the kitchen is right here. You go in the hallway, that's the first bedroom.
Right, so the latch on
The latch on the doors, I don't know if it's because of the screws or whatnot. I just know that it's coming off again.
the latch on to lock the door. When you say latch?
The latch on the side of the door to hook the door to the wall. So that's the part of the doors that keep having issues. It's keeping them up on.
I ain't being funny.
It's
we
like this side right here.
We don't know the hinges. That's
Right,
what's coming
the
off.
hinges. Yeah,
Okay,
it's coming off the hinge.
Because I do the same thing. I was like, okay, so you're saying the hinges.
Right, and then the door starts cracking from the sides and stuff. I don't know. I just know that I got the first incident when I moved in. I have the second incident. I have the third one, and the second and the third one are looking just alike.
So the first bedroom door is off the hinges.
Right. No, it's not off the hinges. It's coming off the hinges. I'm sorry. I want to make sure I be specific with you. When you say coming off the hinges, I do have a door that's coming off the hinges, so that's why I keep saying yes. But it's not the first bedroom door that's off the hinges. It's coming off the hinges.
Okay. And I understand you being specific. I understand that first bedroom coming off, but then you have another one off the hinges.
Off the hinges. Been sitting there for about 6
off the
months.
hinges?
One is off, and one is hanging on by a thin line.
Okay, so the coming off the hinges is a thin line one?
Right,
So it's just 2 doors?
right.
Okay, that's why I'm thinking, because I would have had 3. Okay, so one off hinges. Okay, then we have bathroom vent missing, reset vanity back on wall. So your vanity coming back off the wall?
Right. I
Is
mean,
that from
they glue
pushing?
it on. No, they glue it
Do you
on.
have the same sink or the new updated sink?
I know
with
they
the
put a
vanity?
new. I know they put a new vanity out there. I'm not sure if it's a new sink or updated sink. I just know that it was off. They came and gave me one with a vanity for the first time. They've only changed it one time into a vanity, and it's coming off. I had the same issues at Sydney Hicks though, so I kind of already understand that it's because of the glue
Because it should be
or
a
whatever
different
you're
sink.
using, whatever
If
they're
it
using.
should be an updated sink, it shouldn't be the same sink. Is it the same sink or do you have a?
I think they put a new sink in there with that vanity. So the sink that came out couldn't fit on that vanity, of course. So I
Right.
believe that they did change the sink out. I just don't know what kind of sink they
Okay.
changed.
Okay, so that was changed, okay. AC unit closet door damage.
It's
And when I'm looking, I'm sure, is it the double doors or one door in your
it's double doors in
unit?
there.
Double doors.
And so it's like a little triangle piece or patch that's missing. Been missing since I got there.
Okay,
So
okay, so they have that on there as
Right.
Preventive maintenance.
but he said it's gonna be hard for him to find somebody to fix those doors because Warner Robins Supply don't do those doors anymore, and
Well,
I've
we
just
have
been
to-
waiting.
They closed down, so that was, so we just have to find another way to how to upgrade the doors, but when you put the doors in, they should not be, unless somebody is slamming doors, kicking doors.
If they was
Even
kicking them, Miss Africa,
I
it
know.
would be holes.
in the door.
And because these doors are so thin and fragile that if you even touch or poke them the wrong way, because there's nothing in them, they're not solid doors. They don't have anything inside of them. You can knock to the back of the door when you knock on the side. We don't knock on. I keep my children in direct order so that we can
Okay,
have a decent,
and the back
Stay.
door damage, tell me about the back door.
So
Was that damage when
it's-
you had the person come in, when you had the incident? It wasn't your
the
fault.
the back door in the kitchen, that door has been off of. Like it's never fully been aligned with the actual door frame, and I put that request in when I moved in as well to Robert. So
Back door not aligned. So it's not
it wasn't aligned, but somebody did break into that door too, though. But it
It
wasn't.
hadn't been prepared
No,
at all. Okay, so that's the back door.
So it's just kind of hard to lock it. When you turn the lock, you have to move the door up a type of way to get it to click. It's not necessarily holes in it or anything like that. When they damaged it, they poked out the peephole. They poked out the peephole and they damaged the side of it where you open the door at.
Mhm.
So they did fix both of those parts on the door, but obviously it's still hard to close it or lock it. But I deal with it, you know. So it does lock, it does close. You just have to move it a specific way to get it to close.
Okay. But they still have it. They got backdoor damage. So evidently something else is on there. Floor tiles missing.
Right.
So
So
they're just peeling up, or is it where? Yeah,
it's wear and tear. The units are old, Miss Africa.
I know,
They've been
I'm
up
just-
since
yeah.
1980, probably 1910.
Yeah,
I don't know, but
Yeah.
all I know is that as
But
soon
when
as
you
I
moved into the unit, my expectation is to say, if you move out the unit, say for example, you move out the unit, and somebody go in, they would redo, if need be, all light fixtures. They would go in and replace the tile flooring, but we're trying to go to another floor because now it's hard to get tile flooring, after the first time. So they would go in and do that, your countertops, because TJ Calhoun had new cabinets, so countertops, kind of similar to what you have. In your unit, they would go in, change the doors, door handles, paint the walls, because the kind of cream, so the kind of updated. I like the gray, so that's why everything's going to agreeable gray. Updated baseboards, and some of them trying to see if we need to do the same baseboard as before, or now doing the wood baseboard, but just paint them a darker color. Because wear and tear, you keep the wall, they dirty. You got babies in the unit.
I watch my kids though.
So then I'm just saying,
so I'm not that mom.
These white, I'm just saying they're white. So if you got a broom, a Swiffer, you hit it a darker color.
They've painted all over
white.
it, trying to paint the walls in the living room. So
on that part. So the missing tile. So is it popping up, or was it some water damage where they didn't come back and make a repair, or that's what I'm asking. I ain't asking did you pull it up. I'm just saying it had to be something, or is it cracked?
I think it kind of cracked.
Okay,
I'm not
it's
really
cracked.
sure. I just know that it was little and now it's
A little bit.
big.
It's chipping off.
And it's one that came off in my room, and I pointed it out to him also. But when I said tiles, I meant all tiles because it was one in my room that was already up. It was a small little piece though. So
Okay.
I'm not really sure how that works or what's going on with these tiles. I just know that when they mess up or I see them filling up, I'll put that work order in.
Okay, I got you. Okay, you're talking about the backsplash in the kitchen, cracks in bedroom ceiling.
Right. So over the top of the ceiling, and I want to say the second bedroom to the right down my hallway. So on that ceiling in the toy room, because that's what I call it, it's a toy room.
Yeah.
We don't really have enough space in this unit to put my stuff, so that's where we put our toys and etc. That wall is kind of like trying to, I want to say, come down or something. Like it's a little piece hanging from it, and you can tell that it needs some work.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that space is doing that, and then in the pantry closet is doing that. And in my room, it's a crack in the ceiling, but it's like a little tiny little hole. I can't even explain it because I don't fix on these things. All I can do is just report it. That's
I
it.
got you. Then the living room wall bulging, and that's what you were telling me. And I think it's bulging because it's brick, and then we put plaster over the brick, and then it'll over the brick. So that's it. Baseboard is in the kitchen. That's the stuff coming back off. Living room paint peeling on walls.
The paint is peeling on all the walls.
Right, on the walls. So that's what they have down for preventive maintenance. So when I call today, hey, y'all got preventive maintenance, and I have a meeting. They say we ready. It's done. So I do that. I said, but this is no paperwork. And she had to work on it. So you don't have nothing leaking in your home now.
No, I don't.
Okay, so I can figure that out with Ms. Brown to the report. You see, because he came to the door. He said, I went to the door. So that might have been, I understand that. You like, I ain't put no work order in, so why they knocking on the door? He said, I couldn't get in there. I said, was it after 9 o'clock?
I mean, it was contractors that did come knock on the door yesterday, but I had a sick child in there, and I asked them politely, could they please make an appointment, because I didn't know anybody was coming out, and I'm sitting here trying to nurse my sick baby, and I'm already boo-hooed, like, what's going on? What's about to happen now?
So let me ask you this. So to save on certain things. So if we say, and this is just for an example for you, because this is how we say, okay, we're doing preventive maintenance. If I say we're doing preventive maintenance starting in March, so that's in your newsletter. We may send another one out. We're starting in March. If I said we're starting on this day, that means they can't start in 111, and then well, you not have 11. 400 Green Street. They're not gonna get in your unit the same day if they gotta check each one. So that means they're starting. So particular to yours, you would say, okay, when y'all get to my unit, you want an additional 24-hour domain. 24-hour notice.
I just want a 24-hour notice. I really don't know how that is. I just know that that's what the leaks say, and that's what I want because he pops up to my address after hours, after 5 o'clock.
Because per that notice, you have been given a 24-hour. Because say if you're doing, and I'm sorry.
It doesn't have an expiration date on it.
Because you over there.
You okay?
Yeah, I know, but she in the room, so I'm trying to, yeah. So if we're doing, because I know when I used to do I be able to say, you said you were coming at 9. I can't be in the one room at 9 and be in the other room at 9 o'clock, so it takes time to get there.
Right.
So on preventive maintenance, which is easier for me, I said, okay, I don't need y'all to go, because if you go in Miss Stephanie unit, I need all this done. Because then that means your doors this day, this day. Okay, say Lamar said, I'm gonna come in and put this up. And he come back the next day, he gotta put this up. And he gotta come in the next day, put that up. He gotta come in.
But my thing is they're still fixing on.
Let me finish. Can we fix this one day? This was my plan. Can we do this in one day? Not just saying your unit.
Right.
If it's 400 Green Street, I said, okay, when you go in one unit and you do preventive maintenance, you check the unit, fix everything in there. If you come in your unit, fix your vent. If it's something else, say, oh, she need her filter changed. Don't tell her you need to put a work order in. Change the filter, and then you come put the work order in then. Because it's in your unit, they take care of everything that's in, whatever you see in the unit. If I come in here and I see this crack, okay. Miss Stephanie, I'm finna go back to the vehicle, I'm finna fix this cracked thing, everything in one unit. So that's why it's taking a little long, because I told them, once you want to get in the unit, unless it's in contractual work. But you should still get a call to say, hey, such and such will be out to your unit today to repair your wall, such and such will be out. Because once they do the wall, and we got to figure that out because it's plaster and not the same stuff that will go on this type.
Right.
Well, this not a regular wall, this some sheetrock over this. But it's a different on brick. And I know at the time that will bubble and hold that because it's something else like mortar or something need to go on there. So, if that's the right word, but on that part. But we will need to get in to do this, because what I got this morning, she refusing to let us in the unit.
He can't just say, he got to have it on paperwork first.
No, Reggie, but if we had to go in, we can say, hey, we said we preventive maintenance, blah, 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 blah. But if on your end, you say, well, I need a little extra. I don't have no problem with it, because they can go on fire. I need a little extra. Even though I'm getting a notice that they're doing preventive maintenance, they're going in trying to repair some things and get it done. I want a little extra.
Or they could just name a specific time that they'll be out while they're doing preventative maintenance so that when I look at this paper, I'll know when you're going to get to me so I can be home to open the door so you won't assume that I'm not letting you in automatically, because I do have 5 children. I do have things to do. I am in school. I do have to go places.
So when you leave your unit, your doors are unlocked.
Right.
So it is a lease violation for us to not have access to our unit, because you are renting our unit. It is your home, but you are renting our unit. So you have obligations as a resident. We have obligations as a landlord to be able to do. So if you're not at home, they should still be able to go into your unit. But to say we're doing preventive maintenance, we've given you notification. We give over 30-day notification, and they can't get in. We're beginning preventive maintenance. We're beginning housekeeping inspection. So if they're doing housekeeping inspection, they can't say, oh, we're going to be in the Stephanie unit at 2 o'clock.
Right, I understand that. But the lease also states that it's a breach in their contract to not let me know if they're coming. They have to do 24 hours in advance. Or if it's an emergency, you could go ahead and come into this unit. I have no issue with that.
We have done the 24 hours. You get more than 24 hours. Because if they put a note in, fly on the door Monday, they might not get to you the Thursday. They have notified you, we're doing preventive maintenance this week.
I don't really receive paperwork because they like to skip my door when it comes to me because there's some bias that's going on in this office and I sense it, I feel it, and it's affecting me heavily. I don't have an issue with them coming to this unit to make repairs. It's me worried about who's going to do something to my car or who's going to break in my unit again or who's going to harass me or who's going to put another note on my door or
Who
who's
do you
going to...
feel comfortable? Okay, so I know Reggie, you don't feel comfortable.
Right.
He is your property man. You feel okay with Tierra?
The maintenance men are fine because I can see
Well, I
the
know
truck.
to put your notice on the door. You know what I'm saying? Because you're saying you're not getting your notices. So I'm trying to figure out why would your letter be skipped on your door?
I mean, it
notice
could be
skipped on
because I'm asking them for 24-hour notices. It could be that. You know, I can't say that it's
To put a
not.
newsletter on your door? They don't want to put it on your door?
I know that when it came to this specific newsletter, I did not get one. When it came to me attending this job fair, and I almost missed it if I had not had cameras to see that this job fair was going on. So I want to assume that whoever put them out, I did not get it.
Okay, that's job. Okay, that's residential services saying about the job fair. I don't know who passed their flyers out. The job coaches should pass their flyers out. Okay, but I'm saying like if we put a notice on your door, I'm not sure if you go in which door do you go in? The front or the back?
I use both, but
Okay,
mainly
so
the back door.
You go through your back
I'll
door.
be specific. I mainly use the back door.
Okay. And your contact number is good.
Right.
Because we should send notification out on that. So you may not get a flyer in your door. You may get a email or
I would prefer an email rather than...
a notification. Well, the newsletter have all this stuff in there too. So we're trying to get away from that, but most people are doing. Yeah, some people still like newsletters to get them out, or the telephone number to send you a notification and say, "Hey, such and such, such and such."
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and then one more thing, the camera system. So Tierra did speak with you about that, but and I know you don't have the one that's in the top like this. You don't have that type of camera system.
That's inside of a light bulb. No, I have wired
So with
cameras.
those, I know they've changed over. We got one inspect. It used to be called React. You used to get notice that React is coming. It's changed to Inspire. So Inspire says anything which goes by lease, when you remove anything and place anything up, that's why we're asking people to take those down because they can't take the light bulb out, take the cover off, and plug it in. Now, I don't have nobody have no problem with cameras. I don't have an issue with that because I do understand that. But anytime you attach anything, as you knew before when you had in your file, when you attach anything, you gotta ask for permission.
I did. I asked for permission to put my cameras
Put
up
it in
as well
writing.
as to install the Wi-Fi.
So did you put
I just called over the phone like they always have us do. And they said yes, and I have
I
him
would
on
say
video.
to protect you, put it in writing. Because on there you
So I'm
when you was
supposed
at
to ask for
100
permission again for the
No.
cameras? 'Cause I need them for protection. I have stalkers and TPOs
No, I
out
know.
on people.
Yeah, you have them on that end. So right. But it should have been because it has not changed.
Right,
I
well,
would
via-
say the
via
policy
this
has
time
not changed. I
frame-
know staff has changed, but policy has not changed. So
Right.
when you were on 100 City Hicks, you had them requesting, oh, I need to get cable, blah, 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 you sign. That's a request anytime, and it's in your lease. You know the lease well. It's in your lease. If you're adding anything to the unit, attaching, it's permission from the office, not. And to protect you, like you say, and if they bias is in there, you gotta ask. I would put it in writing.
I did. And I made a police report where they advised the same thing. I have all these police reports. So I have pretty much, I've clarified the cameras. He knew that I was being attacked by the neighbors and he stated out of his own mouth, go ahead and get them. So I put the cameras up. I've had them for about 2 years now.
Yeah.
And then now you want to say, that's another thing. You want to send me a letter, take the cameras down. For what? For somebody to come kill me and my kids? Somebody already broken in the unit multiple times. I have, sticks inside of the window, not damaging sticks, but just the stick to make sure that nobody can't lift the window because it's easy to latch them up. And then people have these little pocket knives that have the little thing on them where you can get into people's windows. I'm just afraid for me and my children's lives. I do have a protective order on several people actually, so.
Okay. So for
And I asked him to transfer in 2023, mind you. He denied it, so.
Okay.
Twice.
He sent you a letter on the line?
Nope, never received anything, but I came here to make those requests in writing for that transfer twice.
Okay, so protective order. Do we have a copy of the protective order?
No.
Can you get me a copy of protected?
I feel like that's personal information. I do know that I can go request to obtain a copy of it because I don't have it, but I don't want, somebody that's targeting me to have all of my informations and details. I don't know who you're going to go call and invite them over to hurt me because this is what I've been facing with Mr. Reginald. I know you know about the situation where I reported him for walking in on me indecent. It feels like ever since he became a property manager, he has used his power to harass me. Well, I wrote a complaint on him, and this was the time. I know she's irrelevant to this conversation, but this was around the time where I was writing complaints on Marcina for changing my mailbox locks, in which you had to give me my key. So the bias has not stopped since then.
You were on Sidney Hicks then?
Right.
Oh, okay. I was
Right.
like, geez,
And
I
he was a
remember
maintenance
you
man.
keys on the other side.
Right, for the mailbox
Okay,
situation.
yeah, your mailbox
And around that same time, he was riding around for her, taking little pictures of my unit, saying that I'm parked on the grass when actually I'm just taking grocery in for my kids and it's 1,000 bags. And I moved immediately. Not saying that none of that is relevant now. I'm just saying that it adds on to my feelings that he have a personal vendetta against me. For some reason, he's showing it, just abusing his power. I am afraid of him. I'm afraid of Mr. Reginald Early. So I'm going to go ahead and clarify that because I've stated it many times.
Yeah, you're clear.
And
Okay.
But as far as the work orders, we're not damaging the unit. We're passing all of our inspections. Everything is always, called in or reported in a timely manner. They don't get back with me in a prompt manner or a timely manner because it's things that I do have on video and recorded that he still haven't fixed since 7, 8, 9, 10 months ago. From the first paperwork that I came in here and wrote up back when we was having the meetings due to the cornflake and bus stop eviction.
Okay, so cornflake, that's done.
Right.
When you came in for the grievance on that, because I want to stay focused, but I know you recorded, you got to have your side. And I like both sides because I can't help you with one side.
Right.
I can't help you with one side. I got to have both sides. That's with anybody. Clarity. That's why when you say, can I have a camera? I don't care about a camera. Can I have a witness? I'm like, Stephanie, know me. I'm straight across.
But it's been biased though. And Miss Africa, you're chief now.
With me. Right. So you're talking to me.
Right, and I understand that. However, your employer, Mr. Reginald, has did many tactics to harm me and my children and have tried to evict me multiple times without just cause, wrongful eviction.
So when you did go to court, you went to court for not paying for the only time you've gone to court. I'll say that.
Right, that's the only thing he filed in court.
That you going to court, because the other time I asked a question, because you were under, from the Peaceful Enjoyment, continual. It was continual peaceful enjoyment.
On her behalf, because I reported
when you call, and I know if I call, say if I'm getting aggressive with you now, and I dial 911, but I'm aggressive with you, and I got you over in the corner, I'm gonna be the victim because I called. That's how that works.
Right.
Even though
but
I'm
in
the
this situation,
even though I'm the aggressor, if I dial 911, I'm gonna be the victim, even though I'm aggressive and you're not aggressive. You see what I'm saying? So I know how that's done. So even with that, on that the ball was dropped because you asked, well, I'm supposed to be going to court. So I'm asking, and I do ask, oh, this person under eviction, what's the next step? Because what's the next step? So either it was gonna be you go to court, send a letter, she's staying. So, and I know one of the things was probation. That's a due diligence on our end, because when we say you break the lease, we could say we going to court.
I wish I would have went because I did not break the lease, and he had no evidence of me breaking the lease. Correct. To be placing me on a probation where I did not place my signature on. So that was a wrongful evasion. Probation as well.
So with that, it can be there's no probation, and so we have had. So what I do, due diligence, because like you said, it's cold outside. You're a single parent. Where you gonna go for the rent you're paying now?
Exactly. But I'm still a tenant with rights though. So you shouldn't just trample over me because of my status.
Correct. Right. So that's nothing. But I'm just saying to anybody, it's for a 1-bedroom, $1,600. That's what the man just said on the news. So you thinking what people pay in rent?
I understand that very well.
That is mortgage. So what I say to do due diligence, so I said, okay, what can we do to resolve? Not just with you, just with anybody. okay, so we got some stuff in here, yeah, we need to work on, but on the other end, if you're not doing nothing, if you ain't on the grass, okay, you gotta carry your groceries. I gotta carry my groceries in too, or the kids carry, but I know you got babies right now, when they get older, you gonna say, I don't want the grocery store, baby, y'all get these groceries in, when they get a little older, we can't park on the grass, that's a violation. That's not a, get a termination violation, that's, you on the grass, I'm on here 3 minutes, I'm on here, it's,
But then
let me
favoritism
finish.
comes in because
Listen.
everyone does it.
yeah, but if it's called, because if I'm riding, they say, you be riding.
But I don't do it
I live-
anymore, though. I
no,
just want to make that
I live on
clear.
this side of town, so if I ride through an area, and I know people do stuff on weekends, some people see some stuff, and if I ride going home, I might ride through the property, I'm calling, hey, do such and such. And then they get to a point of, oh, I need a photo. I didn't need no photo, but when I said something happened, I didn't need it. And I think that's a trust issue too, because I'm not picking or feel picked on. But when it's continual and in an area of continual, it becomes that way. So when, with all what happened from before, I hear what you're saying about you're afraid of Reginald Early, the tactics on that. So when you say protective order on that, so when it's a protective order, the only incident I know about on my end, because I didn't know, and probably I didn't know about him indecent. I don't know nothing about that part, because I don't know if I was
Right.
here
it
at
was
that
a
time.
different chief
Yeah, so
at
it
that
was all-
time
yeah.
and everything.
So, but I know
But
I
I
was
still
working.
want that complaint, though. That complaint form.
I don't even. Well, I printed your file. The one that we printed is and yeah, it's a file because I know when you said I can give her 5 sheets. I was like, oh, well, she got a lot of sheets. And per the Open Act law, it says it when you request it, you're supposed to get it in 3 days.
Right.
It also says 10 cents per sheet, but I would be wrong if I charged you that. I printed it. I don't have no issue. But then you would feel like I'm being biased to punish you for asking for
No,
it.
it's fine because if it's
I
a
ain't
rule
doing
or
it. I'm just saying,
regulatory, I wouldn't
no.
mind.
No, it's on the maintenance thing. So there's some stuff that we don't do, that's on there. It's on your maintenance charges sheet. That's on there. That says you asked for a copy of such and such 3 days. You should have had your paperwork.
Right.
I don't know if to get this resolved, so we got to get this stuff fixed.
Right.
On this part right here. So recording, don't care if but I think the way you have your alarm, your security system up, I don't think, is it roped around or if it's just in one area? I'm just asking because I don't know.
I mean, it's not roped around, so it's not
causing
gonna cause any
issue,
falls
or
or
none of
no.
that stuff like that. Okay. So that's because you don't have this one, but I know the ones that have them screwed in, they have to come out, and some people do have them. The ones that is screwed in, you can also turn them another way and put them in a corner. Because I seen one lady, she has hers in the corner.
Right.
On that point, so I do understand that. But if you have that on that end, because I've asked somebody, I said, well, you got a protective order. So when something happens, or we don't know on your protective order, if to say you got 10 people, I don't know. If you got 5, doesn't mean that I don't know. If they're on a protective order, is there a photo of the person?
I'm not really sure because I don't have possession of it right now. I would have to go obtain a copy of it.
So you don't
But
have
I
any
do
paperwork at home.
Right.
You do.
But I do know that I have a restraining order out on some individuals, and specifically one that lives in the neighborhood now. His name is Tamarcus. I had one on Jasmine when she threw the water on me at the bus stop for that specific incident. So, Tamarcus Knowlton, I think that's Robert's niece, baby's father, or something like that. Her name is Tiffany Crenshaw. She's a tenant. Tamarcus Knowlton is her baby's father.
It's Miss on the corner.
Right by the mailboxes.
Crenshaw. Okay, Crenshaw. Baby father. Okay, so you have a protective order.
Right.
So the protective order, is there a certain distance
that he has to stay away from me?
Yes.
Yeah, it is.
What's the distance?
But I couldn't tell you that. That would be something that he has to show you because that's his terms and conditions under his parole or probation.
So if
I do know that I have one because I've had to call the police on him and they made sure
Right.
that he knew to stay away from me.
So do you know if it's 25 feet or is it just standard?
I'm
I'm
not
just
sure.
asking. You don't know if it's 25
I'm not
feet.
sure.
100
I can
feet?
go look it up though and get back to you on that, but I'm not sure right now.
Okay. Let me know that. So it should be a standard on all of them. So you got Tamarcus Knowlton, you have, how you doing? All right. That's the
Jasmine Fountain got cleared, of her TPO because she completed pretrial diversion. I was notified of that situation and she still assaulted me. So I'm not going to be in the same neighborhood with her.
16?
She assaulted me at the bus stop. That's why I was under eviction.
She had a TPO before then.
Right. She had a TPO during the whole situation. They told her not to have any contact with me so she couldn't come around me via the judge's orders. So
This happened before this the water.
Right.
So that happened. She had a TPO before the water?
No.
After the water.
After the water.
After the water, but she's completed her stuff.
Pretrial diversion. However, she still assaulted me. So
She's still. I'm trying to get clear. So I'm saying you have a protective order against her now.
Not right now, I don't. But she
okay.
assaulted me,
Right.
and she's in my neighborhood.
Okay.
So yeah.
But we have since then separated. So is she coming over there to your area?
She
now?
still comes on that side.
She in your yard?
I don't see her in my yard, but I've seen her come to the neighbor's yard next door to me. I'm not really sure how these people work. I don't bother anybody. I stay to myself. I take care of my children, and I only deal with my siblings.
Okay, I'm just being sure on your end.
Well, she did have her mom come walk around your
Right.
So that did happen.
That was after.
That was after the whole situation took place. The whole.
That was in the midst of all of that.
Right.
So y'all already talked about all that.
Right.
Agreements and okay. And who else you got?
I have a protective order against one of my children's fathers, and I would not like to disclose.
No. That was the gentleman in the vacant unit. Was that the one they found in the vacant unit?
I'm not sure who they found in a vacant
It
unit.
was one of your children's father.
It couldn't have been one of my children's father in no vacant unit because they stayed out of town.
All of them.
All of them.
Now, not Quincy.
He stays out of town as well.
But then when he was in the unit, he went out of town.
He wasn't living with me or anything
I'm not
like
saying
that.
He was living with you, but
Or in anyone else's unit. Why would he have a need to go to someone else's unit?
I didn't say
That's a vacant unit is still someone else's unit.
Because I remember that. Okay, so everybody else is out.
Do they have paperwork on him being in a vacant unit anywhere?
It was just brought to me that he was in the unit, and I think this was in the middle of you and the neighbor during, was that Miss Coleman?
Right.
Whomever the gentleman between the two of y'all, you might know the name, I might have the name wrong.
Right.
But you know the incident, so that's who was in the unit.
Right. He was probably in her unit,
No, he was
but
in the vacant unit.
I don't know.
I know, that's what I'm saying. That was
I can't speak on his behalf because he's
But
not
you
here.
said the other three are out of town.
Right. It's only 3, and they're all out of town as far as I know.
Okay. And had no contact, no bother, no camera stalking, none of that.
I mean, I've pressed charges for stalking. So, I mean, I have my police reports and everything if y'all want to see those, but I'm not going to go in depth. I just know that I've been
When you say you're
harassed.
not safe, I'm not just considering staff, because I think you want me to be just focused on right here. But when I'm focused on this, all of it. So if you're in the area that you're not, I'm trying to ask the questions for clarity to be sure this is all taken care of. But I know you just want to focus on the repairs, but you have other concerns. So that's why I'm asking you safe and who. Because when I ask somebody else that I'm not feeling safe, my neighbor need to know, hey, I got, not your neighbor, but I'm just saying, hey, I got such and such. So if this person is spotted and I see it, I ride by, you may be home, may not be home, but if Tamarcus Knowlton is in the area and he's not supposed to be 25 or 100 feet.
Right, that's the detective's job, though.
He in violation, but he's still on HUD property.
Right, but as long as they're not violating
so if
HUD.
something happens, and I will come through and he's around your apartment and you ain't at home and I see,
Right.
that's my due diligence on my end. So I just don't care about your repairs. You should know that by now.
I mean, I don't know much of anything right now. I just know that
I know because
I'm
you
going
stuck
through
on
too
the one
much.
thing. Yeah,
I'm not stuck on one thing, Miss Africa. My problem is the issue that I'm here about today is your employer refused to give me access to my records, and he needs to be held accountable
Correct.
for his misconduct.
Correct. So
That's
I'm back
it.
on that end.
But I did go ahead and tell you about everything that you did ask.
Right.
I don't have an issue with any of that, or you, or this office or staff for that matter. I know that I've suffered, and it's not something that I should have to, really negotiate about anymore. It's up to me whether I want to go do the proper protocol, speak with the police, go to court, whatever the case may be. However, I'm just giving you a heads up that I do have TPOs. It really doesn't matter because everything's been okay for now. Nobody came around and bothered me. I got my cameras up. Who dares? Who dares? So as far as I'm concerned, I am afraid of Mr. Early. I would like a 24-hour notice because that's what my lease states, that I should have a 24-hour notice, or at least know when someone's coming out instead of being surprised or feeling like somebody's, just coming to harass me consistently. Photos of you every day on my porch, and sometimes after 5 o'clock when your office is closed. So yeah, I still am afraid of him and his misconduct. He should be held accountable.
He's been on your porch after 5 doing what?
Placing a thing on my door that's saying I'm gonna tow your vehicle if you don't fix it, or placing something on my door stating remove your cameras. So yeah, that's misconduct. That's bias.
So you get the threatening notices, but you don't, per se, threatening notices.
When he personally comes put those notices, my camera's gonna catch it.
That's fine, but you don't get newsletters or notices that.
I didn't get this recent newsletter. I never said that I haven't received any prior.
You didn't get.
I didn't get this recent one where you said preventative maintenance. I don't know about it. I have to ask people, when is Inspire inspection? Can you send me a photo with my, so I didn't get this one.
You got your letter?
I did.
You did get yours. Okay. And what about, and you said your Job Plus notifications, you're not getting those?
They put them on my door as well. I just didn't get this one for this specific job fair event.
Job fair the other day.
Right.
Okay.
I'm not sure if it was.
Was it something yesterday? No, that was a life skill yesterday.
I think it was like, was it Monday or?
No, because the next job fair would be May 12th or 16th, something like that. I'm not sure. It was the last job fair.
Oh, okay, the last job fair.
Right.
Okay.
I didn't receive.
Okay. I just want to be sure if it's not to say if I'm mad, I'm using for example, I get mad at you, then my assistant, the property managers come take it out. That's why I'm using her. Take it out on you and don't give you your notice and do your stuff. I want to be sure that if it's a problem somewhere, that nobody's not putting a notice on your door. That's why I just wanted to be sure. You get your newsletter, you should be getting all your notices, you should be getting everything everybody else is getting. It shouldn't be, you're not getting, you got to call your sister and say, did y'all get such and such? Or did you get, it should be across the board the same thing. You see what I'm saying? Problem, no problem. You call in if, because I say to them, okay, I'm going to go check because she not going to report what's not there. So that was my due diligence. You're not going to report what's not there. So my first thing was, you got a ceiling fan in your bathroom? Yeah, you said, like, that
with
should
code
be done
enforcement working on that, it should have been.
Yeah, it should have been done by now. So, okay, so let me find out. So on that end for now, let me find out when this can be done. And Ms. Bray has your number, so either her or I, or if you feel comfortable with me, I will call you to say, or I think your email in the system, to say when they're coming out. So I know on, let's see, doors, bathroom vent, that's Air Clean. That's a totally different company. So see what day they're coming out. I really would like, do you need me to give you 24 hours? Can I come tomorrow and look at them, or can I come today? And
I'll take tomorrow.
Okay, tomorrow. Okay, and I'll come, hold on, because I want to tell you a time. and I don't wanna say it, and I got something else conflict, cause I'm late for, I got another meeting I'm late for.
I'm just trying to figure out how they've had so many of these inspections, maintenance and non-maintenance, housekeeping and non-housekeeping, and they've came out multiple times, over 12 times, video recorded over 12 times,
And
looking
I
at
think-
this and that and that and that and this and that, and none of it is still fixed. And then you want to come look at it again? That's crazy. It's still
I
there.
wanna look at it, cause I hadn't seen it, that's why I like to, cause somebody called me the other day, I said, oh, can I come now, can I see? Cause I wanna see, as I told y'all, I wanna see, cause yeah.
Okay.
If I ain't gonna live in it, I don't want nobody else to live in it, so I wanna see.
Right.
So then, cause I'm just going by ask you, then ask them, and then like I asked, oh, we can't get in there, well.
He got to
well,
put
she
that on
sleep.
some paperwork
Yeah.
instead of making, slandering my name.
So tomorrow, that's over there. Nap time is 12. Let's say 2 o'clock.
2 is fine.
2 o'clock. So I'll come tomorrow at 2.
Okay.
So I can see. And then from that point, I'll see about scheduling this. And I know it's different vendors, and I'll be sure to check if we have them out. They're supposed to have this tag on. I created the tags
Right.
to say going in a unit, because you don't know who. So at least if you got this on a tag on, and it should have a badge thing on there, because I know Dale may come in with a white shirt, it may have such or whatever shirt he have on, but it should have. He should have a tag on.
Okay.
On that part. Okay. So I'll come tomorrow at 2, and you still didn't get your paperwork, so I'm finna go ahead. I came in this morning to print out your thing pass from Sydney Hicks to over here.
Okay.
I print it out, so I'm gonna put it in the folder.
I have a question. Yes, when does the Inspire inspection begin for our units?
It's been postponed,
Mm.
which is fine, but they postponed it, so you would've got, we did, preventive maintenance should not just be for inspection. Preventive maintenance and leases twice a year. So what we've done a preventive maintenance, so I like to be proactive, not reactive. So when they call and say we on the way, everything should be fixed. So right now, by the end of the month, stuff should be fixed.
Right.
So then, if there's anything, so my concern was from last year, which has anything to do with your sister's part, was we just fixed some of this stuff in certain people's unit, then your stuff tore over here.
Right.
So, right, so not saying your unit, but on that part, but when we have Inspire, you'll get a notice, say 28 days, and you'll know that it'll be on this day. When we do have Inspire, they pick a random number, so say over in TJ Calhoun, it's combined with TJ Calhoun and Camp Campbell, they take a certain ratio or number. So that day that they come out to say, if they say, we're coming April 30th, we don't know for sure we're coming, we don't know what unit they're gonna pick.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? But we should always be prepared, or your unit should be always in a place where we ain't in a panic mode. Unless we know, that's why I said if you got leaks, if you got, sink stopped up, certain stuff like that. But what I'm having them to do now, because once this is, I said, okay, so they need to be walking in properly, so if your door handle broke, they fix your door handle. You should, if they catch it, stuff like that. It should be random. So it may seem a little more intrusive, but you should know they're coming. But they need to be on property. They need to see, like I wrote, okay, why the cinder blocks out here? They ain't got nothing to do with it. It was cinder block. Why the cinder blocks here? Why the stove? No, it was the trash cans beside the road. So the trash can beside the road, it just helped with a little housekeeping, and also that was one of the things we said, oh, why trash cans beside the road? So that was always a rule, but that's more strenuous on that for us to keep it in. Pull the trash cans back, unless it's a storm or if it's dark. Now, if it's dark when you get home, I understand that. That's with anybody. Or if it's a storm, we can't, like when that tornado came through, I ain't expect nobody to pull the trash can. But stuff like that, you pull it back behind the unit, and you pull it out when it's time to come up. But I rode through the TJ yesterday. It actually looked good to me. I was surprised. Only one trash can was beside the road, and only one resident had stuff on the roof. But other than that, but yeah. So I'm going through kind of see what's needed, like some doors, some insides and stuff like that. But yeah.
Okay, well,
So you should see them a lot more on property, outside, maintenance. And then once, if they come in your unit, you tell them my door has to broke. When he come in, or may gonna be filters, cause I got them where the filters at 90 days. So I looked at some, I said, y'all get filters in January, right? 90 days, that's nice, so y'all got to hit, was past 90 days, y'all gotta do filters in May. So those are
Right,
90
yeah.
days, so when they come in and see the filter, if you see your, let me see, this cracked, he should go ahead and fix that while you're in there.
okay.
So it won't be in and out, that just makes sense to me.
Yeah, it makes
It's in your vehicle, so you come in one time, if I come in, I'm fixing your leaky faucet, cause I know it has been, they say, oh, you gotta report your leaky faucet. I said, well, if you was in the unit, why didn't you just fix the leaking faucet or check to see what was leaking, and if you need to call a contractor, call a contractor, but it's thrown back on the resident and say, hey, call it in when they can fix it.
right.
We ain't that
yeah.
bogged down. We not that bogged down that we can't do that. So
Yeah. While I'm here, where can I write down some work orders?
yeah, you can. Let me get you a piece of paper to write it on,
Okay.
and then you can put it on.
May I please have one too?
You want
Yeah,
to
put
okay,
the work
and
order on.
so, yeah. Okay, and I get that, and I'm gonna get a folder to put your. Thank you. I'm sorry. I'm only 50.